We welcome in TVs. Deuce Mo, because it's not just one of them anymore. They both regularly appear on television. It's Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, Morgan Reagan's D'Lo and KC, Chris Webber, crew neck, and the dogs as well. October 28th was the last time we got to hang out together.
Oh.
I've missed you guys a lot.
We have an easier time getting Rick Ross and Brett Barish on the show than we
That's facts. That's facts.
That's a little more attainable than getting.
Hey, this schedule's been kind of insane for us.
Otherwise,
we ain't never there. It's crazy.
I mean, the world is different. Like, I went to the Kings game, what was it, like a week ago? Like, I went to go see Morgan. Like, her bodyguards was like, "Hey, excuse me, sir.
Who are you?
Can I help you?" I got stopped and I got frisked before I could get close to Morgan.
Oh, mind the business.
Kenny straight up just came up and he got to talk to me.
I did.
It was
barrier.
Hey,
Before I got whisked away. Before I got whisked away. I mean, it still happened, but I jumped the barrier.
Me and Kenny, I've been meeting up with him a couple of times at games.
Yeah, my man Deuce. I had to go across enemy lines a couple of times and tap him on the shoulder, like, "Hey, what's going on? Hey."
The best was when the Kings were playing the Raptors and they had like a good first quarter. And me and Kenny were, "Hey, man, this looks pretty good, right?" And then they just collapsed. Completely collapsed.
Well, the Kings look pretty good right now. Like, let's start out there. The Kings have won 3 straight.
Whoa, what's that?
Oh,
sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry, guys. I know. Hey,
you got bars?
Hey, yeah, if you don't mind.
What you gotta do?
Deuce Mo, D'Lo, Casey. Yo, I'm on that Caraway Drake flow. We reppin'. It's a podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo, I'm coming in hot. Forcing this bit like a Buddy Hield shot. Oh, I'm not done. I'm just getting started. What's that smell? Carlin just farted. Listen, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all right. Kings beat Orlando. Playoffs in sight. I need the playoffs, baby.
You close it out with a little Aerosmith thing. But man, the Buddy Hield shot, Carlin with the fart. I mean, come on, man. Hold on.
Hey, Kenny Caraway, my inspiration.
Forcing this bit like a Buddy Hield shot. Damn it.
I fell out.
Wow.
What? Damn it. Once again.
You guys don't understand. Kenny, that's like my favorite part of the show now is when Kenny does that. I look forward to it all the time.
Are those Deuce Bars?
Those are Deuce
Bars, man. Deuce, hey.
Those are Deuce Bars.
Watch out.
Hashtag. You don't just say that's hashtag Deuce Bars.
Hey, when you see for the greatest do it, when you see Caraway come on all the time, you get inspired, you know?
You can tell we missed you guys, right?
Oh, man.
We missed you guys too.
We are happy you're here. I was never it's a true story. I was never like really into pre and post games, but I stick around for all of them now. So I could see Mo putting in work, see the Deuce Mason cameo. I'm sorry. I was not prepared for Deuce Bars.
That was too hot, man.
I told Morgan earlier this week, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to bust that out on the show today.
And I was like, you can't. No, you can't. And then he came out with it. And I was like, just kill it. Just do it.
Wait, so I love how we went into the singing part, the harmonizing. You got to do it. Yep. But Deuce's was more like, who sings the song? Green Day?
And trust me, he's like, I can't sing.
When let's go.
Kenny, he's not even that good at singing. Not even that good at singing. So that's really nice of you.
In what 10 months of streaming, I have never seen the chat go as nuts.
No, they
for
popped.
something.
They popped. Punk came back to Chicago in the chat.
Hey, it's been first time since October 28th. We gotta come back the right way. Let's go. I'm glad we didn't come on a couple of weeks ago, like during these. I mean, it's still dark times. Don't get it twisted, but 3 in a row. I don't know how to feel. Like, what are we supposed to feel? Like, let's see how this road trip goes. I mean, it's not good when I see the Woj alert that says all of the Hornets are back for Friday's game.
Hashtag all fly.
Oh, fly.
Hashtag all fly. Yeah, but I mean, if the mantra is stacking days, if we're using the Russell Wilson line of going 1-0 every day, like this team has played pretty well over the course of the last 3 games. I think the Clippers game was unique in and of itself. The second Clippers game was totally different than the first, and then we saw a big offensive output. Now there's certainly there are plenty of bad things we can take away from last night's game, which we can dive into, forcing this bit like a Buddy Hield shot and the lack of defense that they played yesterday. But let's start with the good. What have you guys seen over this stretch that maybe is a little bit different that they can carry on the road with them this upcoming weekend?
I think the good would be De'Aaron finding his groove a little bit, right? Because I think we already know what we can get from Tyrese Halliburton, but him being a little bit more selfish has been nice. But De'Aaron Fox really playing a little bit more like what we've seen from De'Aaron Fox last year, being explosive, but also being in control at the rim. I feel like there's been times where it's just been he goes up and you're not even seeing the full forced effort there. He's just looking for the foul, send him to the free throw line, and he's not getting it. And so now he just seems a little bit more engaged, like he knows what he needs to bring for the squad.
I have no idea what was going on with him earlier in the year, but he's been playing better. And I thought really in the second half too, it was like, all right, let's go. And I know the defense wasn't good last night, but his ability to attack, he got the mid-range going, that step back with the mid-range, and now he's making his free throws. And I know 74% on the season is still not amazing, but for a guy who's been kind of in the low 70s throughout his career, I think this is the highest free throw percentage he's had in his career. And this is probably the best stretch he's had. So I think that's encouraging. I think Terrence Davis showing what we kind of thought he could be a little more so. I didn't think it was going to take him, 25 games to show it. And then your point about Halliburton's dead on. Like, Halliburton, an aggressive Halliburton's a good Halliburton. And we know he loves setting his guys up, but him knocking down shots has been great. And now they, you got to play some better defense. But I didn't think the team was going to struggle offensively this year. And there've been so many games where they have. And so for guys to knock down some shots now, that's a great sign.
And with Tyrese, I know this may not really matter too much on, X's and O's wise or on the scoreboard necessarily, but I love him being the talker, being the trash talker, being the hype man, being overly animated and excited for a team that a lot of times, let's just say what it is. You guys see him every night. They look dead. They look dead a lot of the times, and nobody was doing that. At least you got Tyrese out there that is, like I said, just taking on all of that responsibility of being, I'm gonna get my guys going, whether it's on the court, whether it's emotionally, whether it's energy. I'm gonna get the crowd going, all this other stuff. I've been really impressed with. I knew he could do it, but the way he stepped up in the last few games, it seems like a concerted effort. Like he said, I'm kind of done with this. This is what we need. I'm about to turn this up.
Morgan, before you guys respond, I want to mention this tweet from James Ham. Rashawn Holmes is out. Rashawn Holmes is out for the next 2 games with a right eye injury. He is expected to make a full recovery. But again, 1320 Kings insider James Ham just tweeted Rashawn Holmes is out for the next 2 games.
That sucks. That sucks, you guys, because look at the first time around with his eye and the injury, and then how long that put him out for, and then him trying to find his groove and trying to get back into the flow of things. I think the game before last night, he had 1 point and he wasn't taking many shots. They still got the win in that Clippers game, but still, it's hard to get back into the groove of things. And now to be back out like this, that sucks not only for Rashawn Holmes, but just for this team that really relies on having that piece offensively.
And he had a 2020 game last time they played the Hornets.
Right.
He might have to put on the goggles. Get the goggles on.
Well, you know what it means, though.
I just heard a glass shatter in the background. I think a Christmas ornament just got knocked down by the dogs. Great stuff. I heard that Stone Cold glass for a second. You mentioned Tristan Thompson. Hey, he brought the energy last night. TT, I heard the Drake flow today. Yeah, it was good for him to come in and give them a boost. I never thought I would see him convert a lob attempt like he did last night. I always get nervous when Halliburton throws, like last year when he was throwing lobs to Whiteside, who can't jump, and then Thompson. I'm like, ugh. But that was a sweet play. And you mentioned Tyrese, like Thompson's kind of the same way in terms of trying to get the crowd into it. It's like, let's go, he gets his teammates going, gets the crowd into it, and I thought they thrived off that.
Yeah, we have TT in a box sort of on this show. It's basketball only with this guy. That's all we talk about. Basketball wise, I mean, he even in like the Memphis game that they got slapped around in, right?
Yeah,
I remember he came in and he was trying with his play and what he was doing to provide some energy in that first half. Everybody else just didn't follow. But I mean, I think you can survive, and he's out 2 games. Rashawn is out 2 games. I'd be surprised if he comes back at all on this road trip. Maybe we get him next week when he comes back home. I think they can go on the road and survive with a little TT. You know what I mean? For a few games, getting some extended minutes.
Yeah, I mean, this road trip is tough, right? Like. You get Charlotte with their guys back, and they gave up a lot of points, and who knows how those guys will look coming back. But that Cleveland game is going to be really tough. Evan Mobley has been really good. They've got Jared Allen, they've got length, they play
Garland.
defense.
So right now, too, the Kings under Gentry, or like in the last 7 games or something, they're first in the NBA in free throw attempts. So they're actually attacking the basket. They're getting into the paint, doing a good job with that. But you just mentioned that. You're mentioning these teams that they're going to throw that big presence, that those rim protectors at you now. What kind of game do you have if you're not attacking the basket, if you don't have Rashawn Holmes? And I just think that sometimes people see these teams and they think about their track record or their history or what they've done against other teams. And it's like, that doesn't mean they're going to do that against the Kings. We watched the Orlando Magic take on the Warriors, and the Warriors made them look like the 5-20 team that they were before last night. And then the Kings play them and they score 130 points on them. So, it's like, you really can't just act like, oh, everything's going to be okay on this road trip. It's just going to be another tough time.
And for the record, Deuce, this might actually be a bad thing, but all those guys are out. They're actually not getting any of those guys back for the game on Friday.
Is that true? I thought
they're actually missing. Back. No, they're gone. Like,
did I read that wrong? I thought Woj said they were cleared.
What are you doing, man?
No, they said they still got. I think Woj wrote they still got 5 guys in protocol, and that was.
Well, Deuce probably thought, because I read it a couple of times too. He might have read it as if they're out of protocol, and he said they're just out.
Well, now the Hornets deleted their tweet on that, so okay.
Offline. Hashtag offline.
That's my bad. But okay. Well, let's
messed it up the first time though. Maybe the Hornets did too.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I read it wrong. But either way, the Hornets, even without those guys, have been pretty competitive. They lost an overtime game to the Sixers, lost a close game to the Sixers the other night. They went to Atlanta and got a win. Because Bridges has been explosive this year. They have had guys step up. Oubre dropped like 35 the other night or something like that. So with the Kings, like, I don't know. Like, we don't know what team's going to show up. Like, we've seen some positive things the last 3 games. I think the thing that I look at right now is the West, to me, is just wide open. The fact that the Kings are like close to the 5th spot right now with everything that's gone on this season, this is a great opportunity, but you can't just rely on the fact that other teams are going to lose. You got to take care of business. And I would love nothing more than for the Kings to win like 2 of the next 3.
Yes.
You're listening to D-Lo and KC along with Deuce and Mo here on ESPN 1320 KIFM West Sacramento and Odyssey Station, and driven by Lashers, Elk Grove Dodge. You can watch the show on Twitch and YouTube as well. I know Tristan Thompson deserved praise. We keep bringing him up, I think partly because we think TT is funny, but Alex Len is playing well too.
Yeah.
His role is a little bit different. His what he does on the floor is a little bit different, but I feel like Alex Len has done a good job. And with Rashawn Holmes, and it really, I think we've seen this since Alvin Gentry has been the head coach, guys. With Luke, it was Alex or Tristan.
Yeah.
Now there are plenty. We've seen Alex and Tristan together, and now with Rashawn Holmes out, I think we're going to see. We'll see a lot of those guys on this upcoming road trip with Toronto being the last game there.
I still don't fully understand sometimes his rotations and minutes and what he does with guys, but like what I feel like there's more structure to it. There's more rhyme or reason as to why he's going about it, with even putting Buddy on the bench a little bit more because he's chucking up 10 threes and making one, just those little things will help an entire squad understand and get their flow and rhythm of the game together. Like whoever wants to play like a complete unit, like the game of basketball is supposed to be played, is going to be staying on that floor. And I think guys are starting to buy into that. And if you are, Gentry's going to notice and keep you out there. And that's why with Alex Len and Tristan Thompson, they stay ready. And you can tell that trust and that bond is with them in their coach, but they're also going to understand when they're not playing as well.
You guys, if you didn't hear it earlier, I said the Kings are on their way to 5 NBA Finals appearances. What needed to happen actually happened, and now we can move forward. Where I said a lot of people point towards the coaching change of Luke Walton and Alvin Gentry into why these guys are playing better, and that may be the case, right? But they played about 2 or 3. They played like 5 games, I think, where they had the Memphis loss. And then they had the disaster at Golden One Center, which was the Lakers game. And you guys were there. I was in the building. That felt different. Just the vibe in that arena, the way the fans, it seemed like at that point, they had had enough of this franchise, of this team, this particular team. I heard that a lot. Like, they're like, I just don't like this team. This group is just, I don't even want to watch these guys.
Yeah.
Rock bottom or as close as it could this year. Since then, that's when it looked like a different team. Are you guys seeing that from that particular game, or did you see it as soon as Gentry came in as head coach?
No, that Lakers game was a major low point. Like I was sitting there and I'm like, wow, this is a Kings-Lakers game. There's like 10,000 people here, and the majority of the people here are Lakers fans. And the Kings got hit in the mouth and just absolutely collapsed. And I'm thinking, like, where do you even go from here? So the response after that has been nice. I don't know if that's because of that game or what, but it's been good to see him get it going because this 5-3 stretch over Gentry has been a complete mixed bag, right? You had the Philly loss where Philly was playing. Like, I think Eric Snow came back and gave him 10 minutes. And then they had the Lakers game that was awful, the Memphis game. So, like, 3 really bad games in there. But the recently has looked better.
Well, mentioning the other bad games, I go, each game should have been rock bottom, right? Like some of those really bad games. So that's why I go, with the Lakers game being the next rock bottom, and then they finally respond, it makes me think that what we're seeing right now really isn't what we're going to see consistently going forward. They're going to hit those rock bottoms again because how they responded after the first rock bottom, the second rock bottom, and then it took them the third rock bottom to actually change things around. And, a coaching change.
Well, that's what happened with Austin at WrestleMania 19.
I was thinking the same thing. When's Morgan going to talk about the people's elbow being dropped? Like,
you guys are so dumb.
In my head, I'm just hearing, when she's saying this, I'm just hearing JR go, rock bottom, rock bottom.
A third rock bottom. The Sacramento Kings can't possibly come back from this.
So you guys get my point though, right? Yeah. Like, I feel like that is more rock bottoms are ahead. And whether you think this is a turning point or not, I can't sit here today and feel confident in that.
No, well, that's what I was going to ask you. I'll like, what will it take for you to?
Deuce just asked me this the other day, and I was like, and he's like, okay, how about winning 10 games in a row? And I'm like, even then, how did they win those games, 10 games in a row? What's the context of those? Like, were they fluky wins? Were all these other teams like dying dead and not playing? Like, what happened? So it really just depends on how they get their wins and how they consistently put things together.
Yeah, I think to me, it's like, can you win, like, have a stretch now where you win like 8 of the next 10? Which seems unlikely. My point is, like, okay, start putting more consistent basketball together, because all we've seen this year is like, a nice 3-game stint and then crap for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I would say I'm more encouraged this time around because I just think like their guys are hitting shots again. And there were so many things early in the season, that first 20 games, where guys that you expected to knock down shots were missing wide open shots. Like I felt like Davis was a better shooter than he was shooting early in the season. Same with Fox, even Halliburton, and then Mitchell. Mitchell, the 3-point shooting. I liked how he played last night, just in the mid-range game. But I think that 3-point shot will come. I just like the guys are starting to knock down shots at a much higher rate. They were missing so many looks early, so I think that will help things going forward. But I don't know, man. I'm just not getting sucked in. You're not sucking me back in. It's just not going to happen. We'll be patient with this. I feel like I'm going to be like a player. Hey, one game at a time. We'll just take it day by day and see where we go.
Deuce is stacking days.
Stacking days.
You guys are 100% correct. And Deuce, I agree with you. I mean, Terrence Davis isn't Dale Ellis, but he's also not one of 22. Like he's not that shooter.
He's not Kenny Caraway. Yeah.
Stop. I'm not Dale Ellis. I'm just Kenny. I'm not going to say I'm above Dale Ellis, but I'm just saying shooting has evolved over the years. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm part of evolving over the years. That's science. That's evolution. So there's that.
Evolution.
Evolution of a shooter. That's just what it is. It's not my rules. That's what it is. But you guys talk about when I'll believe. I really don't know. Like when I see it, I'll know it, right? But they get. I know James Ham talks about let's get a 20-game stretch, and can they go 16-4 in that 20-game stretch? But then look, if they did go 16-4 in a 20-game stretch, I'll be looking real hard at games 21, 22, and 23. And you're like, okay, here's where they fall off. They just went 16-4, but they'll lose 5 in a row. So I don't know when it's going to be. But
what's happening in Houston right now? Houston lost 15 in a row, and then they won 7 in a row. Like how do you even look at that team
last night without Kevin Durant? But still,
it's just like I don't know. I like last night's win because you take care of business on the home floor. You put up points, and like Fox looked great. Halliburton, like the offense looked great. But God, you gave them 130 to Orlando. They came in last night 28th in the NBA in scoring. The most they had scored was like 116 against the Rockets, and then he just scored with ease.
You got the win, and Deuce and I are the people that you have to celebrate the wins. We don't like all the negativity, but when you look at a team as bad as Orlando is offensively, it is sad, and it's really bad that they scored 130 points on this home floor for the Sacramento Kings. It's bad. It's not okay. And it just worries me going forward. It's like, okay, well, you play a better offensive team and then you're not having a good shooting night. Boom, there you go. They fold. It's a blowout again. And we're back into the same old routine.
So on the flip side, they did hold the Clippers under 100 points, right? So that was a good thing. And I think my favorite part about that game was they made the decision, the coaching staff, to put Fox on Paul George. And I thought Fox did a great job. And I wish Fox would take that responsibility all the time and just play like that. And I don't know if that was just more of a product of Barnes missing and Harkless not playing either in that game, but I just loved it. It was like, hey, go guard the best guy. And he did a great job.
Stayed engaged. It was like he wanted it more or something.
But I want to see that against Orlando.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Cole Anthony was going off last night.
So let me play the Aaron advocate here as Deuce and Mo join us here. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, Odilo, and KC. We references he was phenomenal against Paul George in the Clippers game, but he struggled offensively. He was aggressive, but he struggled offensively. Last night, not so aggressive with Cole Anthony, but he was as good as we've seen all year offensively. And this is what Kenny and I spent an hour trying to figure out. There's a fine line between being a really good, a great defensive team and just being better. The concerns from last year remain exactly the same 20 some odd games into this year. And it's the note that you just pointed out, Deuce. They gave up 130 to the Orlando Magic last night. And it's like, okay, yeah, you have moments against Los Angeles, against the Clippers, where you could step up and play well. We go back to the beginning of the season where it felt like they were consistently putting up good defensive efforts. And, now here we are just looking into the second quarter of the season. Like, I really don't know what to expect from this team defensively.
Yeah.
I'm leaning much more towards them. Okay, they're just going to be bad, and they're going to have to shoot in the vicinity of 50 some odd % to win games.
Well, get ready for another 32 win season or something.
Right.
Man, you know, like,
it's like they need to address the defense. They need to address the shooting. And even if one's working and the other isn't, it's still like there's just going to be a lot of problems. And I know we can come to the conclusion of like, yeah, this small market team just needs a few stars and to elevate even De'Aaron Fox's game and to make him into a star, and it would all help. That's what this league is about now, but it's just not realistic. So if that's not realistic, guess what is, you guys? Having a good coach and coaching a good basketball team, putting a good product out there on the floor with the way that you have different strategies, have guys buy in. Kenny, have you ever been on like a really crappy, not a crappy team, but like, let's say a mediocre team, but everyone bought into the coach's system, and the coach's system was just discipline and it worked? Like, you're taking jump stops, it's super fundamentals, but everyone's buying in. So you're beating the better teams that have that one flashy player that usually scores 50, but you are working as a team. Yeah. It's, you know what I mean though, Kenny? Like, it's a doable thing, but it again seems that is not here in Sacramento, and they need different personnel, and they probably are going to need a new coach at the start of the next year. So it's just like there's a lot of things that need to be changed.
Yeah, I still don't. I think I haven't talked to you guys since I had this thought, but this group and this core that I look at is Fox, Halliburton, even though he hadn't been here the whole time, but Fox, Halliburton, Harrison, Rashawn, Marvin, and Buddy. They don't work together. They just don't work together. And I'm not saying all 6 need to go, but at least like 2, take your pick, but at least like
I know 1
to go. Right. And I hope Monty and that front office is still having that in mind. Right. Like, just because they played well in these couple of games or with that consistency. The thing that we're talking about today is the same things we've been talking about for the last 2-3 years. So just like you guys said, they could play good here. When's the other shoe going to drop with this particular group? And I hope come the 15th of December, when everybody thinks the NBA is just going to go into a fantasy draft or whatever, I hope that from then into the trade deadline, they still stay focused on that and look to improve this roster, even if it means moving on from a Buddy Hield or a Marvin Bagley, even though Bagley's been playing well, whatever the case may be. Got to look to improve this roster and get a more cohesive on the court group together.
Yeah, to me, it's like the approach is going to be interesting by the deadline, right? Because it's like, where are they at? And then what do you think the ceiling is if you go take a big swing at a significant player? If it's like a Sabonis, what's the ceiling? Can you be a playoff team for a few years? Because again, as much as fun it would be in the moment to be like, hey, they made the play in, you can't just be like satisfied with that.
No.
You need to build a sustained winner. And so you need to pick which direction you're going to go. Are you going to go with that direction? Or if things go bad here in the next, month, are you going to go, hey, everyone's for sale. We'll keep Halliburton and we'll keep Mitchell. We'll trade all these guys. We'll give them the reins, see what they can do, see if they can play a fun style, probably get a top 5 pick because we're playing that way, and see what Monty can do in the draft. Because the reality is they just need players. They need star players. And I'm not, we've talked about this whole like tanking thing. I'm not even saying that. I don't even think you have to really tank. Like, you would just play Halliburton, Mitchell, and whoever else was on the squad and go out there and play and hopefully build something with those guys. But you need to pick a direction.
Cute little tweaks aren't working.
Yeah, it can't just be like, hey, you traded like Corey Joseph, or hey, you traded Bielitsa and got Mo Harkless. Like, we got to talk about some significant swings here. And, almost trades don't count. We can't be talking about like a bogey trade or the Buddy. Like, those trades didn't happen. Yeah. So you gotta start taking some swings here. And I'd be fascinated in the conversations that Monty's happening with his roster.
Are you on the trade De'Aaron Fox team?
No, I'm not. I like De'Aaron a lot. I think, after that Lakers game, I was more open-minded than ever to be listening to anything, because it's just like what Kenny was just saying. We've seen this kind of core group together for a few years now, and it's like it just hasn't worked. And it's not like we're talking about a team that's been the first round and bounce. I mean, look at what's going on with the Pacers. They're like, the first round's not good enough. We need to go in a different direction. Kings are just trying to get in the play-in.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be so married to this roster. But I still believe that De'Aaron Fox has all-star potential. He didn't show it early on in the season, but if you watched him now, even if you're an anti-Fox guy, you have to admit the guy's playing well right now. And I think he could be a part of what you're building going forward.
You guys, he can be an all-star too without being a number one guy. I think that's the other thing that some people are starting to realize. They're like, yeah, but he's not a number one and he's getting this max. Okay, but you're in a small market and they believed that was what was going and supposed to happen. And if that's not going to be the case and he's not going to be the number one, then you find a number one. And if you compare that next to each other, you see how that can work around the NBA and how it works for other teams. Why aren't we just mirroring everything that other teams are doing? But I also do know that answer because it's not apples for apples. We're in a small market and that's just not how things go.
Yeah. Well, the Kings, we'll have to see what goes on with those guys, right? We're in a wait and see type of deal with this group and not full. It can't get fooled again. All right. So that's what's going on in the Kings. Now, I want to take some time to slander the Chase Center. All
Let's go.
Slander the Chase Center real quick, because here's my observation of it. I've been there one time. Look, they spent $1 billion on a thing. It's going to be nice. It's $1 billion. It's going to look nice. It's going to have really nice things. It's going to have, crystals and chandeliers and all this other. It's going to be nice. They spent $1 billion. But two things. Number one, it seemed like a hotel. All right. It didn't seem like you're at a sporting event most of the time, especially if you weren't by the seats. And you're in the concourse and all that. Seems like a hotel or an airport. And number two, it was just a nasty failed ripoff of the Golden One Center.
Yeah, bootleg version of Golden One.
God, I love it.
When I walked up, I went the main entrance. Oh, this is kind of cool vibes outside. They had, a lot going on, a lot of activations. I'm like, this is cool. And I walk inside. I'm like, okay. I get to the concourse and I'm like, are we serious? Am I at my doctor's appointment? What is happening? It's
the hallways felt like that.
I can tell you they overthought this completely. And this is typical Joe Lacob. We got to keep the atmosphere and just like we had at Oracle. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this really kind of small concourse closed in, no TVs or anything because we want people to be in their seats. That's a new building. I'm like, this does not feel like a new building. What I love about Golden One Center, and I heard this from people who cover the Warriors, who cover the NBA ahead of time. They're like, oh, I think Golden One's better. I'm like, really? Walking in, I know what they're saying now because you walk into Golden One Center, you got that huge grand entrance. It feels open. Yeah. You can walk around the concourse. It's completely open. You got TVs. You could see down to the court.
Magical.
There's nothing magical about Chase Center. It's just when you're in your seat and watching the game, it's just like watching
magical
any other
product on the floor, which is great.
But the building itself, I'm like, wait, this is what you built in downtown San Francisco. This is what you put forth.
So interior designer perspective, not timeless, awful, just so old and it's very, very much it's blocky. Where there's just truly no flow and openness.
There's no character to it whatsoever.
No, and it's like they tried making this character, but it's like you guys just made this look older than it needed to look. It was just so not well done. And I remember with Golden One Center, I was always like, what's so great about this? It seems really pretty, but what's so great? So many people talk about how much better it is than Chase and why. Seeing Chase Center made me truly understand how special and pretty Golden One Center is. And that's why it's yeah, that's great. So now if you could put that much love into the product on the floor, that would be even better. And if for anyone out there that understands Real Housewives, Chase Center would be like Real Housewives of OC and Golden One Center would be like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So well done.
You realize there's not one person in the Chatty House who understood.
Well, I understand.
Do I give a damn? Well, Potomac is amazing. So I would never diss Potomac.
Yeah, my girl Giselle. That's my girl.
Love her.
All right.
Yeah. Damien's like, yeah, okay.
I don't
It's
care.
like that old HGTV stuff where, like, I feel like someone. Well, you know what's great about the Golden? See, you walk into the Golden One Center and they have this open concept. See, it's just open look and just everything flows together.
Yes.
Where you go to the Chase Center and it's like here's the kitchen, and it's all boxed off, and it's a hard place to entertain. Golden One Center is built for entertaining. The Chase Center is built for your grandmother.
There you go. You get it.
By the way, Lake up overthinking the whole like, hey, fans got to be in their seats thing. The fans will be in their seats if you have a good team. Yeah. Like, it's just like Golden One Center. People are like, oh, people aren't there in the third quarter. Yeah, I'd avoid the third quarter too some nights. Like, have we seen third quarters at Golden One Center? There's so much going on. It's, you got a lot of casual people hanging out. Like, if it's a good product, you're going to be in your seats.
You'll appreciate this, Deuce. You know what that is? That's a radio station who won't stream their show because they want you to listen on the radio. Yeah, fam, it's 2021. Like, nobody is doing that. Like, you need a YouTube stream. You need a podcast. Like, stop it.
And I knew they were in trouble with that design because I followed it pretty closely when they were building it and everybody. But yeah, is it gonna be able to hold the noise? Is it gonna be loud? Is that okay? Like, like if you got 17,000, it's gonna be loud. Like, they were so focused on making it loud and is it gonna be like Oracle? And I can tell that you guys don't have just natural, noise
Taste?
and environment.
Let's not get. You know what's crazy? They did all that, Kenny. They did all that, and guess what? Oracle's better. Oracle's better.
It is.
It was old, but it was better.
There you go. Facts, everyone.
I wasn't impressed by Chase Center. Like I said, $1 billion. Yeah, it's going to be nice. I'm not going to. I would hope it's nice, like nice looking things. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
You three managed to spend 6 minutes trashing the Chase Center. I hope you're all proud of yourself.
I am. I feel good about that. So thank you.
By the way, Jill Adge popped for the Housewives reference. So
thank you. I saw a few people in there that understand pop culture, everyone.
Gazelle? What's my girl? The Fancy.
Giselle?
Fancy from Jamie Foxx. She's on Beverly Hills, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it's Giselle. It's Giselle.
Giselle.
Wait, not Giselle. It's
Garcelle.
Garcelle. Thank you. Sorry, I haven't literally during the season though. I haven't been able to watch and catch up on all of these shows that I really want to watch because my life is just consumed by basketball, Stockton Kings basketball, G League basketball. But I love it. But it's basketball on the brain, so I had to get that one in there.
I haven't seen it. I just follow her on Instagram. That's it.
She's all right.
So Damien, it went from Chase Center breakdown to talking about Real Housewives.
Well, I mean,
that's Kenny, by the way.
She's a Hall of Famer. You talk about Avalon being a Hall of Famer. She's in a Hall of Famer.
There he goes. I love you. You're cool and hip, Kenny.
It started with Deuce Bars and ended with.
Can we get Deuce Bars? Can we go out on it?
Oh, you want me to do the same one again?
Yeah. Run it back.
Oh man, let's see if I don't have the lyrics in front of me. I don't need the lyrics. Yo,
you sure?
Yo. Well, no, I'm on that Caraway Drake flow. I'm coming in hot. I messed it up already. That's how I remember how it went. How'd it go? It was Caraway Drake flow.
What'd he say? I'm married to the bit like Buddy.
Yeah. I've hit the wall. Do you guys understand? I was practicing for 45 minutes before we came on.
Fantastic. It was
okay. Let's go.
It was an all-time moment. I mean, we went from Rick Ross saying D'Lo and KC for life to Deuce dropping Deuce Bars. Like, I'll take it. That was a win. We all won.
Yo.
Ooh.
Bro. Yeah. You guys ready for this? Let's go. One more time.
Your facial expressions are what's funny.
I'm on that Caraway Drake flow. We reppin'. It's the podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo. We coming in hot. We're forcing this bit like a Buddy Hield jump shot. Oh, I'm not done. I'm just getting started. Oh, what's that smell? Carlin just farted. Listen, I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling good. Kings beat the Magic. Playoffs in sights.
remix.
I messed that up, but it's all good.
Anyway, it was great to see you guys, man. We miss you.
So good seeing you guys.